Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. We are your co-hosts. I'm Brian.
And I'm Robin Joy.
And this is Coach's Corner.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
Are you ready to ruffle some feathers today?
Oh, we're going to ruffle feathers today.
Let's ruffle some feathers.
I like it.
All right?
I like it. Controversial.
Yeah, controversial take this week is this, that the word sourcing has become so... I can't say the word on air, but let's just say overused and misused, that it doesn't mean what people think it means anymore.
It's become kind of convoluted because we've combined so many things into that word that if you told somebody outside of this community or this industry really something about sourcing, they would think you meant something completely different. Not unlike OARA, these things,
exactly.
they have an evolution within groups like this. So let's talk about sourcing and what sourcing distilled would mean and what we call sourcing, what really we're doing when we're talking about sourcing.
Real quick, since you brought up the whole OARA thing, it's a great example. Well, I don't do OA, I do RA. It doesn't matter. It does matter in terms of maybe the way that you are going to go
your systems,
acquire the product in your systems. But at the end of the day, they're both arbitrage.
Right.
Even wholesale.
Arbitrage is the important
part. Arbitrage. Everything that we're doing here is arbitrage.
Right.
Right. Unless you're launching private label, but everything that we teach is arbitrage.
So can we say, Brian, that when you find a listing on Amazon that you want to make an offer on, you got to go someplace to find where to buy that inventory to put in there.
Yeah.
That's sourcing.
Yeah.
That part right there. That's the sourcing. Finding the source. Why is that not such a big deal anymore?
Well, because of the advent of bulk sourcing tools. Yeah. And the ability for everyone.
The matching tools.
Yeah. I say bulk sourcing, but good correction. It's really a matching tool.
Yeah. It's bulk matching. It's not really
bulk matching tool.
I guess it is bulk sourcing because
it's finding a source
in a bulk, you're finding the source. But that can all be automated easily with the tools that we have now. Now, you can do it manually as well. And that is a much bigger deal and heavier load. I like to see people do it manually a few times so they understand exactly what is happening with these matching tools and don't let the tool decide for them what their system is. But that part has become a lot easier than it used to be.
Just to go off script a little bit.
Oh, dear.
We haven't even gotten started. I'm going off script. Are you ready?
Just getting started.
When I was figuring this out in the first few...
When you were first starting your business?
In the first few months, and I was working with my coach. I would work all week.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in air quotes, right? I would source all week. And I would send my coach my finds at the end of the week, and it would be like one or two.
Yeah.
And, she would give me feedback. And in the early days, mostly it was thumbs down, across the board because I didn't know what I was doing, right? So you got to fail to fail forward on those things, which was great. But we did have this conversation one time where she said, look, you are competing or going against or in a marketplace where...
Trying to compare yourself.
Yeah, we're trying to compare yourself. That was probably it. To other people who are doing this for 8 to 10 hours a day, and you...
are doing 2 or 3 hours.
And you're not even in that efficient in your 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're doing yet. You haven't practiced enough.
So, I will say this. The bulk matching tools have leveled the playing field.
Really?
They have leveled the playing field. Yeah.
Amazing. The ability to now use Keepa to find which ASINs you want to match. Keepa sourcing has changed the game. Bulk matching tools have changed the game. Like, there are a lot of things that we've developed because this has been such a huge issue getting started. So.
Yeah. The old school way was like treasure hunting when you were sourcing. It felt like a treasure hunt, right? You're like, looking at your list of things and you see if you can find it in the store and you're like, oh, got it. These guys have it on sale or it's on clearance or whatever it is. And so it was a treasure hunt, but that's really not how it works anymore.
No. And it's really made it much easier to create a system because it doesn't work that anymore.
That's right. Anymore. And the system is where the value is.
So some of the things that people, let's stay on this until we get it all the way through here.
Yeah.
Sourcing, some of the things that we mean when we're talking about sourcing are choosing which ASINs to send to Amazon, figuring out which ASINs are going to give us profit. But that really has nothing to do with the source. It really
No, you're right.
It has to do with the ASIN. It has to do with your system.
It's about the marketplace.
It's about the marketplace. So basically what we teach you to do in our frameworks are check the ASIN, make sure it's good. We use a pre-flight inspection, a 3-step check, which is an assessment that does it have the minimum requirements to make sure that I'm not lighting $20 bills on fire, right? Yep. I need some velocity. I don't want to send in some money and have it held hostage there for, however long until it decides to sell in 6-8 months or never sell.
Yeah,
because
never sell.
It just nobody ever sees the ASIN. So I want to do some checking to make sure that it's moving fast enough. I also want to check to make sure I can protect my capital. I say make sure. There are no guarantees that you're not going to lose on these, but if you assess it first and do it on purpose, you're likely not going to be lighting a $20 bill on fire. You're likely going to be finding ASINs that if you do lose it, only lose a little bit. And overall, you probably won't lose any. You might break even on a lot of them. And then we want to make sure that there's potential for profit there. So those are the 3 steps that we go through to decide if we're going to test or not.
It's funny. We talk about path, and it was the path to 100 ASINs. Okay.
Originally,
that's how it started. Was this
workshop.
This workshop, and it was the path to 100 ASINs. What we didn't, it was just sort of what do they say? Happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Is that path is actually the system too.
Yeah.
Right. The system is this prospect. In other words, gather your matched ASINs, assess, apply some criteria, which we put out there as a 3-step check, but make up your own if you want.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be ours. We talk in our book about how to make that assessment.
So prospect is P, assess is A, obviously. I'm so used to tell it to me like I'm a 5th grader that this is the way I explain things to people now all the time. T is test, right?
Well, just because you're not smarter than a 5th grader.
T is for test, right? And you got to test it. And then
you have to test it. That's key. And you got to test it.
H is for harvest. And those ones that successfully test out for you, you keep replenishing, right?
Yes.
Harvest. That's the harvest part of this.
So our original workship was Path to 100 ASINs, and that meant replenishable ASINs.
That's 100
a book of business that has 100 at least replenishable ASINs within 6, 9, 12 months, depending on what you're able to put into it.
Yeah.
And then we wrote the book Path, which is you can get at officialolsons.com, all O's in case you're wondering there. Path, the book, talks about how we decided to put this system together, these frameworks. They're actually some frameworks that we put together to create a system. Yeah. And this is what we work with you one-on-one. If you coach with Brian or I, this is how we work with you. And many of our coaches do as well, in some variation of this. The point of it is to build a book of business that's sustainable. It's predictable. So you don't go on and recreating the wheel every time. This takes system.
Yeah.
Right?
And then scalable, right?
And scale.
You scale with your systems. If you don't have systems in place, growth is challenging, scale is impossible, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we've pointed out here that when we say sourcing, we're talking about all of that usually.
Yes.
And really the sourcing part is just matching up. That's easy now.
Yeah.
The testing part is what gets left aside. You got to do the test. If you don't do the test, you don't know reality.
Well, let's bridge the gap here, okay? Products are easy to find.
Yeah.
Okay. Profit is much harder to validate, and testing is how you validate. So we have to test. Why is it so important?
That's why I always say, let the test tell you whether you should replenish or not. You don't try to figure that out before you test.
But isn't this why we have Keepa? Can't we just do chart analysis and figure that out?
It used to be a lot more true, although it's never been true that this would tell you what's going to happen in the future. It gives you a lot of information about what has happened, and we need that information to decide whether we're going to test or not. It does not tell us whether we're going to make profit or not. Keepa doesn't tell us that. We have to test to find out and let the test tell us if we should replenish or not. But now, even more than a few years ago, does Keepa have a lot of things that don't show up in Keepa. There are a lot of things happening on the ASIN, I guess I'll say, that don't show up in Keepa.
That's right. And the number one reason why reason why, is the multidimensional buy box.
All right. Tell us about the multidimensional buy box, Brian. I know you've talked about this before, but I don't think we can talk about this too much.
Going to give you an extreme example.
Okay.
Okay. If, let's say I'm looking up this product and I look at it in Seattle with a Seattle presence.
Delivery address,
right? Like I'm, sort of spoofing Amazon and saying, I live in Seattle.
Yeah.
What does this product look like for me there? And then compare that to someone who is in Miami and look at the exact same ASIN and look at the buy box and the seller offers on there and see what you find. You will find a lot of times, as long as the distribution network is not saturated, the results are different.
Yes. So if I'm delivering to Seattle and Amazon doesn't know where I live, or I'm going to get possibly a different seller in the buy box than if I'm delivering to Miami.
Yep.
This could be a completely different seller because why? Because the inventory is closer to that person.
That's right. Completely different seller, completely different price point, completely different marketplace.
Right. Exactly. So then we could look maybe at Chicago and there'd be no buy box at all.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing within the, speaking of off script, let me just tell you this little tip. Many things that are data and put into Amazon and or Keepa with a label do not necessarily mean that. When there is a label that says no offer has a price that is good enough for them to get the buy box, essentially, I'm not sure exactly what it says. No offer is good enough. It talks about price. It's not usually price.
It is not. In fact, I'm so glad you brought that up because there was a post that I addressed in the Facebook group today, the My Silent Team Facebook group, about someone who was lamenting the fact that, he bought this ASIN and it's still on the way and the ASIN's already tanking.
Yep.
Okay.
And it still doesn't have a buy box, I'll bet, right?
Well, no. And so it did have a buy box. And then, because he didn't include a picture, but I found exactly one of these. Was it yesterday, the day before? And I showed you. I was like, oh, this is such a clear example. But here, let me see if I can explain this. All right. So the price. Let's just say the price is going along at $30. Okay. And the offer count is relatively stable. And then all of a sudden, you see the offer count start to rise up. Okay. And then the buy box disappears. And a lot of people think that the buy box disappears because of price, and sometimes that is true.
Sometimes.
Okay.
But I am convinced, because I have seen a lot of them, that it's not as often as the other case.
And this is what I was going to say.
And I'm convinced. I am not just trying to make the case. This is true.
And everyone else's price on the ASIN is going lower and lower and lower. So theoretically, the offer price is lowered down to $20, let's say, instead of $30, and there's no buy box.
There's still no buy box.
So they were like, well, it must be because the ASIN's tanking or, whatever. And I'm going to say, I bet $10 on this.
Yep.
That if you went and looked at, for this person, the way they were seeing it, there was an image included, and the buy box disappeared, is because there was no offer available with a suitable delivery time. Because if the price is less, Amazon doesn't withhold the buy box because the price got lower.
No.
Right? They don't withhold the buy box because more offers got on the listing. They withhold the buy box because the price they think is too high, or because the delivery window is not sufficient for good customer experience.
Okay. So let me expound on that.
Okay.
So if that's true, and you believe that, which I do, they withhold the buy box because there's no delivery window time. In other words, you see ASINs that have a future delivery date, 2 weeks from now. There's inventory you can buy, but they haven't actually received it yet, so you got to wait for it. Otherwise, they'd give it to you within the 48 hours. They're making it available because it ran out of stock, and that's the only way they could keep that ASIN active. They know there's some on the way. Okay, so this is the situation. Now, if you believe that, and you've seen that Amazon gives you a high pricing error and deactivates your offer if they think the offer is too high, then that's why I believe that very rarely does that mean what it says.
Well, I mean, Are you saying that Amazon says things they don't mean or says things that aren't true? Like, I'm shocked. Right?
It's not some guy saying it. It's saying, pull the buy box and put this label up. Nobody's looked at it lately.
It's the Amazon system that is doing that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what reason codes do we have? Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Right? That'll work.
But it's not even a decision. It's a decision tree that a machine is making.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Right. First one up. So this is why we have to test these things. And we have tested this over and over and over.
So you cannot know. You simply cannot know by looking at a historical Keepa chart what you're going to experience in the future.
Okay, so back to the multidimensional buy box. Yeah. Sorry, because I went off script this time. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So if this happens, I'm not going to see that on the Keepa chart. I'm not going to see the $30 price in Seattle. Mm-hmm. I'll probably see the $20. I might be seeing the $20 price in Miami that Amazon caught one time that day. Oh, the multi-dimension. The other dimension is that the buy box is going up and down all the time and going through people, different sellers all the time.
So another good example here. I was recording new Keepa content for new Keepa courses.
Yeah.
And by the way, little nugget there, new content coming soon. And I pulled up this example of a incognito window, right? So I had this ASIN up on screen.
Yep.
And it knows it's tied to my profile. It knows my zip code, all that. I went into incognito mode in an Edge browser, pulled up the exact same ASIN. Okay. Now, it was able to discern my general location, totally different zip code, but it still considered it Denver. Mm-hmm. There was a different person with a higher price in the buy box in the same metro area. Like we are in the same metro area and I'm getting differences. And so the example I gave you between Seattle and Miami really can't happen in the same city.
Exactly.
Right.
So if that one warehouse runs out of stock, boom, you might be up.
Yeah.
Or if you have stock in a warehouse, we were talking about this the other day too. I can't control where my stock goes. No, I can't. But Amazon's a logistics company. You've said this over and over. For many years you've said this. They may not be the best retail company, although, some might argue because of their systems, but they're definitely good at logistics. Yeah. They have to be. There's so many moving parts, physically moving parts. Yeah. Now that they've built a couple hundred warehouses across the United States, this matters. This didn't matter 5 years ago. This matters in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And it matters more and more all the time.
And so let me just wrap up this multidimensional buy box and Keepa.
Before you do that, let me ask you, when you were looking at those two different places and they had two different prices, what did Keepa say?
What do you mean? Oh, Keepa showed the lower price. Thanks for coming back to that.
Keepa often shows only one price a day.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at today, you can look at hourly, but historically, you can only look at...
You can drill down into the hour, but the point that the research that we did on this is that it is always logging the lowest price that it finds.
And it actually says that on the new price, it's the lowest price that day. It doesn't say it on the buy box, but it does say it on the new price. And we noticed that it's almost always the lowest price.
I was looking at the Keepa chart in my not incognito window, and it said, price $30. In the incognito window in my Edge browser, price $31 is what it was showing me in the buy box, but that's not what Keepa said. Keepa said $30.
Yeah.
And so just to put a bow on this real quick, I mean, not that we have to finish talking about it, but when people's minds get blown by the data that's in Keepa, now imagine tracking historical multidimensional buy box. In other words, by the zip code almost, historical data for given products, and your brain will explode.
I've only seen one tool that can do it, and that's Smart Scout. And that's only in the current price, I think, last I knew. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Yeah, you're right. I think it might be current price or delivery time that you can do, but
that tool makes it very, very clear that this is happening
super obvious.
all the time on many, not just a few ASINs.
Yeah.
Like
a lot. Why? Because
I'd almost say most, but
in the old
close
days,
to 50% at least, maybe more.
50 warehouses or distribution centers. Today, there's 200.
And they were in
like,
big cities.
Tier 1 markets.
Yeah, tier 1 markets.
Tier 1, tier 2 markets. Yeah, now they're kind of all over the place. And so Amazon wants the customer to have the best experience. So they're moving your inventory to where they need it because they're a logistics company.
Back to that part. I'm so passionate about this. And we just had a conversation where we really got into this deep. So forgive us for getting excited here. But yeah, it's true. So back to I can't control where my inventory is. Amazon's a logistics company. They're going to put my inventory where it's needed. So I'm almost always going to be in a place where people are asking for inventory, but they don't have any, especially with my small amounts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm not going to get every market with small amounts, but I'm going to get the markets that are needed.
Yeah.
Right. And you know how we know for sure that that's happening, or if it is or if it isn't? We test. We test.
Yes. And so that's why there's a lot of transient information and transient experience as a reseller doing FBA, right? Because you could land on an ASIN and, test it, restock it. You could be in it for 6-8 weeks. And then all of a sudden you're not getting your premium price anymore.
Yeah.
Because why? Because Amazon has funneled the inventory kind of where it needs to go. And this is why we're always testing as well, because you are constantly finding the other locations.
And you're
finding the other
pockets.
opportunities. Yeah.
For sure. And so they're going to turn over. And that's why we see that as well. I mean, one of the many reasons. So tell us something else, another reason that we might be thinking we're seeing something that things might be hidden from us. Data might be hidden from us before we test that we can't know.
Well, give me a hint.
Distorted. Amazon timing distortions is what it says.
Yeah. So this is kind of related to what I was talking about, the post that I referred to earlier, where the price was tanking and the buy box went away. But 9 times out of 10, you go in and look at it, it's because the delivery time for that person in that location that they were looking at was not suitable for a customer experience. So Amazon does this thing by not giving shoppers in that area a buy box. Now, this also extends to any ASIN for that matter, right? In any part of the country. And what's funny about this is sellers will race to the bottom, competing against inventory.
Those automatic repricers can't see it either.
Well, they can't. In fact, we've proof that even some of the top repricers are repricing your inventory to a low price before your product is available. Before it's available in the Prime window.
Before it's available in Prime window.
Yeah.
Now, they don't reprice it before it's available to buy.
Correct. Yeah.
But they can't tell whether it's available to a customer. They can't tell if it's available to customers after being received by Amazon within a 48-hour window. So they only see if it's available to buy. They don't know when the delivery date is.
That's right. And so that's why we get this thing, panic pricing. And I responded to another post in the community today about this, and it's a panic price, panic window pricing, right? Or panic pricing, which is, and I did leave an article, link to the article in Substack because you cover it so well in there. But people are like, well, my inventory is available to buy, but it's not selling. I must need to lower my price. I must need to lower my price. I must need to lower my price. And because
everybody else is lowering their price because they don't know the secret.
Because they don't know the secret. The secret.
We know the secret. We'll tell you the secret.
The password is
Amazon has created, whether they meant to or not, a customer who is way more time sensitive than price sensitive. And they will pay whatever price that it is, as long as it's available within the 48 hours that they expect. If it's not, they're probably going to move on and look for something else until it is. The sellers are trying to lower their price and get that sale. Then those of us like us, much of our book of business is made up of these where we've waited before we started our test. And we found that they will buy at a higher price, and we often get the buy box, even though there are many lower price. And you showed me a couple of examples of that the other day too. We see them all the time, but you're working on it, putting those together. So the buy box, again, comes back when you get within that 48-hour window, even if you're higher priced than everybody else.
100%.
Even if you got that email that said, your
price is not eligible to be featured offer or whatever. Like if your product is in the Prime window and you're getting that message, that could be true. If your product is not in the prime window and you're getting that message, that may not be true.
And I say, if my product is in the prime window and they send me that email, but I'm making sales, I'm still going to ignore the email.
That's why I just think it's such a mistake to reprice your inventory before it's in the prime window somewhere. And the only way you know that is by looking at your inventory screen. And when the available number changes from 0 to anything above 0, boom. Now you're in the prime window somewhere.
Now, let me answer a question that we got after we wrote that article. The question was, so should I turn off? I can opt out of the In-Stock Head Start program, which is what allows your inventory to become available before it gets to Amazon on some ASINs. Amazon decides. I can opt out of that, and that will never happen on my inventory. And that can make things cleaner. Yeah. But I don't see a reason to do that, because if I get that sale before it gets in there, it gives me a lot of information, and it's probably going to tell me I haven't priced high enough, in my opinion.
I think it's, this happens all the time where we sell something in the first week at our highest price that we have evidence for, which may have occurred like 2.5 months ago. And we're like, dang, we should have started higher.
And then we go higher and we still make sales.
We go higher and we still make sales. We may not sell as many, but we'll still make sales at a higher price.
Yeah. Now, as long as we're in the 48-hour window.
Exactly. Now, this doesn't work for all ASINs. Like a lot of ASINs where the distribution network is saturated. Think about these, these really low rank products that there's thousands of units in every distribution center across the country. You're not going to probably experience that. But we're looking for the lower hanging fruit, the empty shelf space.
Right. The stuff that we can individually manage, which kind of creates that. But this goes back to 5 years ago. When did you start? Almost 7 years ago. You were looking for a nice, even, pretty buy box that never moved. Yeah. And that was important then. Now, I don't want those. I don't want the ones that are nice and even and pretty and never move, because the price has already been settled out on that.
There's no opportunity to maximize my profit.
Right, exactly. And if there's not profit there, now some of them, if there's profit there and there's room for me, I'll test it and see if there's room for me, but seldom is there. Yeah. I get much better response from those wildly moving ASINs, which tell me that it's probably in and out of stock. It's probably different prices in different areas of the country. I mean, that's one that I want to test. I like those big moves.
So bottom line on the Keepa thing here is that it's not lying to you, but it is not showing you all of the data either. Right. So if lying by omission is a thing, then Keepa's lying to you in that way. But I mean,
they give us a lot of information.
We talk about the amount of data that they cover. Imagine if they were also covering multiple zip codes every minute of the day, like they do with their current data.
Well, and remember, the tool was never built for sellers.
It's morphed into it.
Yeah, right. But initially it was built so buyers could tell when the price went down.
So so Keepa is sort of like I think you came up with this. I think this is awesome. Keepa is the view from the stands. As a fan, as a sports fan, I know what that's like, right? Testing. We say this a lot, is your view from the field, right? When you're on the field, when you're in the game. And this is where you need to be. That makes the Keepa chart come alive.
Right. When you have the ball in your hands.
You talk about the fourth.
You're not just going, screen, do the screen, watch the screen. You're not doing that. You're actually deciding what play you're going to.
Fourth and fifth dimensions. Right. As opposed to what you would look at on a chart. Yeah. So use Keepa to decide what's worth testing, but you got to test to find out what's actually true.
Yeah. And one more quick thing on Keepa is that FC transfers look like sales to Keepa, and they are not sales. There are things that are labeled, and they even tell you it's not what it says it's labeled at. Yeah. But when you see a Keepa says it's a sale in the data tab, I'm not talking about the monthly sold. That's from Amazon. Yeah. But the individual sellers, what they sold, don't believe it. Yeah. It's less and less true all the time because of all the changes in the warehouses.
Yeah, okay. And inventory levels. It's basically, if you look at it, it says it's changing inventory levels. They're marking it as sold, but it may not necessarily be a sale. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to our final point here.
Okay.
What happens to new people starting out is they think... So this is more about setting expectations, right? Okay. We need to build a foundation before you're really going to expect to be profitable as a business. Yeah. Now, you can have some profits here and there like this ASIN sold profitably. But what happens is, and this, I was having this conversation with one of my coaching clients recently, is, I generated, X amount of dollars in sales. And if it weren't for the $300 in inbound transportation, I would have been profitable this month. Okay. Well, it's because you're in growth mode. When you're in growth mode, you're constantly spending more on inventory, more on inbound, more on, your whole thing.
Any profits I did get back, I'm putting back in. So then it's,
This
growth.
is why the way that accounting works is you're accounting for that in the same time period, right? Yeah. Here's my shipping cost that I paid in December. Here's my revenue and my profit that I made in December. But my profits are impacted by my shipping costs in December that I'm really not going to recoup the revenue or profits until January or February on.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's this lag. And this is why, like I said, you can see profits coming in at an ASIN level, but you're not going to probably be profitable as a business until you get some foundation built, which is why we always say, give us 12 weeks.
Yeah. 12 weeks is going to get you started.
And a lot of people think, well, I'm 6 weeks in and I'm not making $1 million yet. And I'm over. Nobody
said you were going to make any money.
Right. But
overnight.
So they think something's wrong.
It's nothing wrong. It's part of the plan.
I don't really work with people who have those kind of unrealistic expectations.
I don't think you do either. Extreme. Yeah.
But how come I'm not making money yet? Well, here, I'll tell you why. 6 weeks in, you only have 2 weeks worth of inventory probably that's available in the Prime window right now. And those were your first 2 weeks, and those probably aren't your best products.
Yeah.
So you're
just now starting to get some sales, so you're starting to get some choices that could even possibly give you any profit.
We talk a lot about the reps.
Yeah.
Okay. And why it's so important for you to have to, that you're willing to put in the reps, that you're willing to face your failures because they're going to happen, and that you're willing to grow from them and willing to give it 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Because this is at 12 weeks is when the light bulb's going to go off. You're going to see it. You get this proof of concept early on. That's why it's easy to keep going for 12 weeks. But week 3, week 4, you start getting some of that proof of concept back as evidence that as proof, actually. This is proof. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. If I can just sell more of those things, I will be profitable, right? But you're scaling up at the same time. And so, like I said, you've got, expenses for month 3 happening right now, but you're not going to see those sales until month 5. And, so it's all out of whack for a while until you get your system going and you're feeding the beast every week and you sort of hit a plateau.
You got to build that foundational book of business.
You have to build the foundation, right? And so we say this a lot.
That takes many, many weeks.
It does. It's front loaded. It is front loaded.
And you're not going to have a foundational book of business in the first 12 weeks.
No.
You're going to be just getting started, getting your feet under you in 12 weeks. It's going to take 6, 9, 12 months. Yeah, depending on what you can put into.
When we were talking about Amy on our last episode, right? It was about 12 months for her. And some things came up. It's not like she was full-time in the business for 12 months before she broke 10K, but
humans are humans and they have human lives. And, until you do get your feet under you, you can't quit your job. So you've got many other responsibilities. Amy's got a bunch of kids she's responsible for as well.
Yeah. So what does getting a foundation actually mean, right? You need to have some systems in place for assessment, for purchasing, for prep, shipping, for managing the business acumen side of your business, right? And this is so important because if you don't do it the same all the time, you're going to get different results and you're not going to understand why. What's the difference maker in that?
Yes.
Right. So having the system in place that you're repeating with, regularity and not changing the rules on every day or every week, right? So that when you do make a change, you can see how that is impacting your business.
Yeah. And so the products come and go, but the systems let you adapt. And I might add to that, the systems allow you to scale.
Yeah, that's right.
If I have to look at every single ASIN and reprice it every single day and adjust, whatever, do anything with every single ASIN every day and change my mind based on what that ASIN looks like today, I can never pass that to someone else. I need a system. I need walls put into place. Now, it'll take you a little while to build that, but that's what lets you scale, not getting better at it.
And you talked about how you used to work at McDonald's.
I did. When I was one of those kids, when I was a teenager, I worked at McDonald's. It was my first job outside of my parents' business.
Were those your favorite hamburgers?
I really liked McDonald's. I really liked McDonald's French fries back then. Back then they were way better. But yeah, I ate a lot of McDonald's hamburgers. It kind of old. But here's the thing about McDonald's, and if you've worked there, you know there's a system for everything. It is almost foolproof. A 5-year-old could make hamburgers at McDonald's. Barring the fact that there's
fifth grader
oil and stuff. Yeah. Fifth grader, yeah. Because you push a button, when that button goes off, you do something. When you do something else, you push a button. When that buzzer goes off, you do something else. Like, it's all written out for you. It's systematized. You do the same thing over and over and over. You don't have to figure out whether that burger is done or not. That burger's done because the timer went off.
That's right.
Period. That's what McDonald's has. They don't have the best burgers. I don't think anybody would say they have the best burger ever.
No.
I don't think they have bad hamburgers, but they're not about the best burger. But they have the best systems.
Yes.
And this is what happened when Ray Kroc came in and bought McDonald's and said, okay, systems. We got to put in systems. And it's been growing that way, better and better, all these years. And that's why McDonald's is a worldwide multi-billion-dollar company. So
they are not changing their systems to accommodate different or better, in air quotes, burgers.
Yeah. So if the new fancy thing is a burger with avocado on it, they're not going to adopt that new fancy thing unless it fits in their system.
Right. Or unless it's worth making a system around.
Exactly.
Right? Which is the ice cream machine, the McFlurry machine that's always broken?
Oh, yeah, the shake machine.
Shake machine, yeah. Shake machine's always broken. So they said, okay, we're going to go to the...
Yeah. To tell the truth, when I worked at McDonald's back in the 1900s, we did not have an automated shake machine. Now all you do is pour the stuff in it.
Yeah.
Back then we had to actually take it apart and yeah, it was a whole different machine. But they systematized it more and more and more. And it's been a while since I've had the broken shake machine. Oh, it's been a while since I've gotten a shake.
I can't remember last time we went to McDonald's.
But yeah, so who is it that says do one thing? Is it KFC? Used to be back in the 1900s. It was Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah. Probably when they said this.
Yeah, do one thing.
Do one thing and do it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Do one thing and do it right.
Yeah.
You don't... You get off on all of these, I'm going to do wholesale. And I'm gonna, like you did when you first got started, all these shiny things. Yeah. Do one thing, do it right, then add something
And
else.
There are so many things competing for your attention. Okay. Even in this community.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it's not because.
Absolutely.
It's not because we are asking you to do everything or telling you that you should do everything, but there are so many opportunities because
we're making
of when
offers.
You are ready. Yeah. Right. And if you're working with a coach, your coach is going to tell you when you're ready.
Yes.
And you can take that advice or not, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's your business.
My coach said, don't do bundles. And I did it anyway. And I failed. And then I stopped doing bundles, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are two ways to learn that lesson. Do what your coach told you to do or try it and fail. I mean.
And then do what your coach told you to do.
And then go back and do what your coach told you to do to start with.
So build your system first, define what fits within that system, and then just pass on everything else.
Yeah.
Right? And until you've got that perfected, don't really entertain any other opportunities. Is my 2 cents on that.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. So really here, we were talking about the asset earlier in the episode.
People think their ASINs are the asset.
People think their ASINs are the asset, and they're not, because the ASINs are a dime a dozen.
There are billions of ASINs. There are literally over 1 billion of ASINs on the U.S. platform.
1.4, or it's just shy of 1.4, but it's growing by the second.
It goes up and down all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And like ASINs are everywhere. I've been saying a lot, and I think we said it here in recent weeks. Sourcing is solved.
Sourcing is solved.
But let's based on what we said earlier.
Yes.
Let me redefine sourcing and just say matching is solved. Yeah. Sourcing now is a different game. Okay, sourcing is about you needing to verify that the ASIN is good and needing to verify that you've got an authorized supplier. That's really the sourcing part.
Yeah.
That's the sourcing part today,
been made so easy, and it's been solved, like you said.
Yeah, matching ASINs is solved. But it's what still requires the human input in spite of AI. Okay. Now AI can help you like surface things you should be looking at, but you still need a quality check. They need a quality check, right? You can't just sell things blindly, or you're going to get in trouble. We've seen it 100 times.
So I was just going to say, I wasn't going to say it, and then since you brought it back around, I'm going to say it. You said 1.4 billion, and it's keep going up, but it does come back down a little bit because they're catching you on those ASINs where it's misbranded, and those are the ones you don't want to be on because they will deactivate those immediately. Possibly you'll get Section 3 out of it. You do not want to mess with an unauthorized source or a misbranded ASIN. And I'm talking about the brand field, which must have the correct brand, and it must be spelled right. Period. End of story. Those are the two things I would say are rights and wrongs. Everything else is up for discussion.
So be McDonald's, not a gourmet burger pop-up. Yep. I actually, you wrote this in here, but I'm going to challenge you on this. I think if you have to be McDonald's if you are going to be running a $36 million a year business, like I saw posted in the Facebook group this week. And I'm like,
yes.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that amazing what we're seeing?
Yes.
In the last, this past few months.
That's not a boutique gourmet kind of experience that is that, right?
If you want it to have your touch on every single thing that's done, which can be, in a restaurant business, that can be people come from miles around to some of these, unique boutique restaurants that are touched by, this Italian grandma that never, that has everything under control.
The Michelin star chef restaurants.
But it's not scalable.
That's right.
It's not scalable.
Why does it take 6 months to get a reservation at these Michelin star restaurants, or 9 months or 12 months? Because it's not scalable.
That chef is only that chef, and they can only do what that chef can do.
So I make the argument for the boutique style of business, which is what we run. Yep. We have not broke 7 figures, and I'm not sure that we will.
Not in replens.
We will with additional income sources, but not just in replens. Right. But there are people who are doing it.
Yeah, and there's no reason not to.
Leaders in this business, that you can absolutely. And then there's the $35 million a year business, or however much it was.
Then there are plenty of people who are doing $75,000 a month, and then adding other things to them to get their larger.
Let me give you this analogy. Okay. At one point, we investigated investing in vending machines.
We did. Man, this was many years ago.
This was back in
one of our many.
Back in the early 2000s, back in the aughts,
entrepreneur missions, yes.
And I almost regret not doing it just for the experience of nothing else. But imagine that your Amazon business is a vending machine, and you have 36 potential slots for products.
Right.
And your goal is to find the products that sell and fill that vending machine with 36 replenishable ASINs, knowing that with the release of new products and the change of recipe of some existing products, thanks, Butterfingers, ruined it for me, that you're going to be changing out products all the time, right? You are going to be changing. Now, the one that is there, like, no matter what, like, been there forever, Snickers. You're always going to find a Snickers bar, virtually always in a vending machine, right? You're going to find your Snickers bar too.
Yeah.
Right? And then you'll add to it, and then you'll have your Three Musketeers, and then you'll have your Mounds and Almond Joys and all the things that go in your vending machine. But treat it like, and then once you figured out how to make that vending machine work where you're keeping all your stuff stocked all the time, then go buy another vending machine. Expand your business.
So you may have to replace 1 or 2 things in that vending machine, but overall, that vending machine, you can be outsourced. You can put somebody else on that. And then they can just call you when they say, hey, this one hasn't sold in a while. Do you want to do something else?
Or the coin operator thing is out of order. You got to fix that.
Yeah.
Right? Or I mean, everything's tapped these days, but yeah.
But that machine, you can basically outsource that machine and go build another machine.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed. That's what I mean. I think personally that one really lands with me. And thanks to Gus, who gave us the vending machine analogy. And just to recap it, he gave us the visual of
which I thought was great.
You can only fit like so many units in one of those little coil things in the vending machine. And if you don't keep it stocked and the thing spins, somebody puts in money and it spins, but nothing comes out. That's what it's like when you're out of stock.
Yeah. And nobody's going to put any money in on that number. Right.
And the more things you have out of stock, the less selection you have, the less things you're going to sell. Fewer things you're going to sell. Sorry.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. So the system is the asset. We got to stop sourcing and start testing our hypotheses.
Yes.
Using the 3 pre-flight inspection, the 3-step check, and real tests, predetermined tests with predetermined actions on results.
Yep.
I decide now what I'm going to do if this doesn't sell at the price I want it. I'm going to decide now what I'm going to do if this does sell at the price I want. I just make the decisions up front, and the results just tell me which decision
is being made. Yep.
Yeah.
Second thing you hear is Keepa is like your view from the stands, but when you're testing, you're actually in the game, on the field, right? Because the buy box is multidimensional. There are plenty of timing distortions that will happen, and a lot of temporary things look permanent.
We can't see everything in Keepa.
We have to test to discover the truth. And here's the truth. The truth is always moving.
Yeah.
Right? It's a
a living animal, right?
Yep.
It's affected by all of us, right?
Yep.
And we also need to be patient with the foundation phase. Yeah. It takes time. We got to build the systems first and then make sure that we're using the system. You know, you're going to make some changes. Again, it's a living, breathing thing. Nobody's business is not. You always have to be adjusting, but overall, you should have that full vending machine at some point. Until you get there. You keep trying to fill that vending machine.
Yeah. So and build a machine, build systems. Don't go on treasure hunts. That treasure hunts
will give you a little for now, but you're just going to frustrate yourself because you can't get it again without starting from the beginning again.
Build systems around your product matching and your product evaluation, testing, and harvesting. Right?
Build systems around your testing
so that no matter what, you've always got products to test, and you know what to do when you are testing them, and you know how to handle it when it passes or when it doesn't, and all that.
Exactly. Make those decisions ahead of time.
Yep.
All right, Brian, do you have a quote for us today?
I do have a quote for us today. This is kind of on the heels of the whole Keepa thing, right?
Yeah.
This quote comes to us from Edwards Deming, who's really the father of modern quality management. We talk about quality management, quality assurance. He's got a big input factor in there. Anyway, the quote is this: "In God we trust. All others must bring data."
Data. This is what we mean by data-driven decisions. Not, I'm smart, so I figure it must be, if I were doing it. That's not data-driven. Data-driven is what actually happens when I do this to it, what happens to it. It's truth. It happens. It's data. It's data.
Until you have data from an actual test, you're operating on faith.
Hunches, intuitions, feelings.
Yeah, those don't pay the bills.
Anecdotal. Yeah. Somebody told me this once. Well, what if this happened? Well, I'm afraid this could possibly happen. That's a guess.
Yeah. Or
let's find out.
What are people doing right now? Blah,
blah, blah. And guess what?
Yeah.
Having faith in it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
The actual data, decisions based on actual data, pays the bills.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say also, Edwards Deming.
Okay.
I have another quote from him that I think also fits in here.
Yeah. Dueling quotes today,
if I can have one today. If you can't describe what you're doing as a process, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. Deming said that. But gosh, I think it's so true. And I've used this in my professional life historically. I was a data analyst for a while, and it's true. If you can't describe it, then you don't know. When you try to tell me you want this out of your data as a data analyst, and you can't explain what you want, then you don't know what you want. We got to get to the bottom of it.
This is really the systems part, right? Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't build a system around it. Right. So you have to have clear definition.
And you definitely can't teach somebody else to do it.
That's right.
And take it off your plate.
You can't be McDonald's. You can't have a fifth grader come in and do it, right? So do you have a framework for deciding on your test prices? If it's all, this feels like this, or,
this is what everybody else did.
Right.
Okay. If you're in testing mode, what everybody else did doesn't matter.
What you'll have is like a hobby that sometimes produces profit.
Yeah.
Right. That's not a business. So
yeah, that's not a business, and that's not going to be sustainable.
Yep.
So bring the data, bring the building processes. That's the game.
And if you don't have anything going yet, like if you are in these early days, because you've been waiting on the sidelines trying to figure out the game without getting on the field.
ASIN.
Yeah, or find those unicorn ASINs. Yeah, what do you do in that case, Robin?
Test more ASINs.
Let's go test more ASINs. Let's go do it. Oh, yeah. There, I got to turn mine around. Keep calm and test more ASINs. All right. We'll see you soon, everyone.
See you soon, everybody.
Take care.
Hey, thanks for joining us for today's episode. But before we go, my good friend, Jeff Schick of jeffschick.com is going to join us. He's our resident expert for all things Amazon, Walmart, eBay policy and legal. He's always got a good tip for us. What's on your mind today, Jeff?
Hey, so thanks for having me on. Well, I wanted to talk about suspensions. It's something that people like to have questions about. And just the one thing I wanted to bring to people's attention is that we do assist sellers that are not on retainer with suspensions. I've had some sellers say that they didn't reach out to us when they were suspended, either from their ASIN being suspended or their private label product having compliance issues or their account being suspended on Amazon or Walmart. And they said, well, they didn't reach out because they weren't on retainer. They thought that we couldn't help them. And so I wanted to just make sure that everyone was aware that even if you're not on retainer, we are still able to help. Now, granted, with that being said, it's significantly cheaper if you are on retainer. So like if you're not on retainer and your Amazon account gets suspended, you're going to be paying at least $2,750 for us to help you get reinstated. Whereas if you were to sign up for the retainer, even today, using our $1 coupon through Silent Jim, which is Mistake, you sign up today for $1 and you get suspended tomorrow, you're covered. You're not paying anything more than that $1 you've already paid. But if you don't sign up today and you get suspended tomorrow, then it will be $2,750. We're happy to help you, but I just like to let people know that that's available as an option, beyond just the retainers that we offer, but the retainers are obviously the best way to protect your business. So
outstanding. Yeah. So if listeners go to jeffschick.com and use the coupon code MISTAKE, they get the first month for $1, you said, and they're covered. Correct. And it's just a few dollars a month after that. Correct.
Exactly. It's $99 a month is our starting plan. So, it's definitely a very good investment for most people's businesses because you never know what Amazon or Walmart's going to throw at you.
Absolutely. And you've helped hundreds at this point. We've probably crossed 1,000 at some point, sellers in our community with different little issues and challenges. And even things like, our team will come to you and say, do you think this warehouse wholesaler is legit? We could research ourselves, or we're paying you. So, hey, let's just bounce it off Jeff's team. So those little questions, you guys have served us so well. And I appreciate your work, man.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I was researching it the other day. I'm about to hit 3,000 Amazon cases since I became a lawyer.
Really? Oh, that's good to know. I didn't realize it. And a bunch of those have been people from our community. So, wow, well done, man. That makes you an expert. You do something 3,000 times, you're going to get pretty good at it.
I'd like to think so. So, we're
Great
trying.
Job. Well, you've got a great reputation in our community. jeffschick.com. We got the coupon code MISTAKE to get your first month basically free for $1. Get over there, sign up, protect your business, sleep better at night. And Jeff, let's have you back again next week if that's all right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Appreciate you, my friend. Bye for now.